Disneyland is a magical place for kids and adults alike, but they employ many tricks to make sure that you have the best time possible, and also many tricks to make sure you spend as much money as possible. I'm Charlie, and today we're going to look at these tricks so that you can spot them next time you go to Disneyland or Disney World. Smell pods. You may have never noticed this before, but next time you're walking around Disneyland, take a whiff of the air. You'll normally smell a really lovely smell, but how is this possible? With a bunch of sweaty people walking around in the sun, surely it wouldn't smell that great. Well, it's all thanks to smell pods all around the park. These pods pump out smells into the park. They're usually in very busy areas or near particular stores. The pumps, which are normally hidden in lampposts, pump out smells such as vanilla or popcorn, and this in turn makes guests want to buy the food related to the smell. A smell pod is used outside the Gibson Girl ice cream parlor, and unsurprisingly, it's one of the most popular stores on Main Street. A vanilla smell is pumped through a vent underneath a window. This brings guests in off the street and into the store. These smells also set off neurons in your brain. Some smells are designed to make you feel nostalgic, and other smells are designed to make you want to eat or drink certain foods. These smell pods also sometimes pump out the smell of strawberries. That is because researchers found that the smell of strawberries is related to happiness. Magic bands. If your cell phone provider was tracking exactly where you go all the time, then they'd be in huge legal trouble. But if you think it's just phone apps like Find My iPhone that are tracking where you go, then you'd be wrong. Many people in Disneyland buy what's known as a magic band. Inside these magic bands are RFID chips. This allows Disney to track your location. These can be used when kids get separated from their parents, but mainly they're used to track where people go in the park. This allows Disney to have a bunch of data about where you go and when. They can then make necessary adjustments to make you spend more money. For example, if a lot of people are going to one place at one certain time, maybe put some extra food stands there to make more money. Not only that, magic bands are often used by adults. This is so that you don't need to carry your park ticket, your room key, or even your credit card. But you have to be careful when you link your payment method to a magic band. That's because these magic bands pretty much separate you from your money. If you can make a purchase simply by scanning your band, then it's easy to stop thinking about how much money you're spending. This makes people spend way more money at the park without even thinking. Go away green. One genius way Disney parks manipulate you is using colors. And one of the colors Disneyland likes to use was actually invented by them. The color is called Go Away Green, and it's an extremely bland shade of green. Scientifically, it's the most unappealing color in the world. That's also the reason why in certain countries, cigarettes legally have to be packaged like this. You'll see this color a lot around the park, but you won't even notice it. The color is designed to make sure that most people simply glance past it, hence the name Go Away Green. It's used to hide areas of the park where they don't want the public to go. This includes gates and doors that are staff only. But most famously, the door for Club 33 is painted Go Away Green. Club 33 is a secret club inside Disneyland. It's located right in the middle of the bright and colourful Main Street. But because it's so small and bland, many people simply pass by not knowing what it is. But because it's so small and bland, most people simply walk past it, not even realising it exists. Behind the door is Club 33. It's basically a very exclusive club with a 10-year waiting list. Members need to pay $50,000 a year to get in. Inside is a wine bar, a 5-star restaurant, and a lounge. Temperature. One tactic Disneyland uses to make you spend more money is heat. If you want to cool off inside Disneyland, then go into the Emporium. The Emporium is the largest store on the Disneyland property, but it's also the park's most cold and heavily air-conditioned building. You may think the reason why this is so that people can cool off in the store, but that's not the case. Instead, it's to trick people into buying specific merchandise in the store. No one would buy a Disneyland sweater on a hot summer's day. But if Disney crank up the AC, then many forget how hot it is outside. They feel the cold, and that's why they feel the need to buy a sweatshirt. So the air conditioning is simply a smart trick Disney uses to get you to buy specific items. Wait times. The first thing everyone looks at when they go to queue up for a ride is the wait time. But did you know that Disney's ride wait times are almost always wrong? And this is true in multiple ways. Disney does not want the times to reflect an actual wait. That's why employees will often display a time that will either drive people toward or away from a specific attraction or section of the park. For example, if one ride is getting busy, then they'll increase the wait time a lot. This makes people go to the other rides and decrease congestion. And if one ride is not being used very much, then they'll make the wait time something like 1 minute or even less. Even if you may have to wait for a bit longer, this drives a lot more people onto that empty ride. Sometimes Disney also lowers your expectations. They may say that you'll need to wait 30 minutes to board a ride, but it will only be 20. That will make you think, wow, that was really fast, and you'll be happier in the park. And also the wait time on the Haunted Mansion ride is almost always 13 minutes. This is actually an in-joke. That's because the number 13 is said to be gothic or bad luck. Dark walkways. This is another way that Disneyland manipulates you using colors. You may have noticed that everywhere in Disneyland is very bright and colorful except the pavements and walkways. Well, they're painted very dark on purpose. The dark color attracts heat from the sun, and this makes standing in place for a long time very uncomfortable. This makes people keep moving around the park and stops any traffic jams. If people loitered around on the hot roads, then they would get very hot and uncomfortable. So the dark and hot pavements and walkways make sure that the guest flow is always smooth and consistent. And the heat will also drive more people into stores which are air conditioned. Hiding construction. Disneyland want to make sure that your time at the park is magical. But if there was a gigantic construction job going on, then this may take away from that magic. That's why Disney have some very clever tricks that they use to hide construction work. Walt Disney himself said that Disneyland is never done, but Disney will disguise their construction using things like sky-colored canapes. This means that in your vacation photos of the park, nothing's sticking out and looking bad. It simply blends in so that you don't even realize. Also, Disney sometimes use scrims printed what the construction will look like when it's done. But sometimes Disney actually highlight construction work. They normally do this for gigantic constructions that people will be interested in. They did this when they were making the ride Mine Train in New Fantasyland. The fences had small windows so that you could take a peek inside. This makes people remember the ride and want to come back at a later date to ride it. And they also do this using concept art outside of rides which are being constructed. This may be enough to make someone book another vacation to make sure they can ride that ride at a later date. Packages. If you've ever booked a trip to Disneyland, then I'm sure you've been offered a vacation package. These packages bundle things like your hotel room, park tickets, and dining all in one. And these packages usually mean that you can make some big savings. But you're probably thinking, how is Disney tricking us if they're offering us a bundle deal to save us money? Well, the trick is not in the package, but instead how Disney markets the package to you. They will normally mention that these are for 6-night, 7-day trips. But if you read the small print, you'll realize that you can get this with a 2 or 3-night trip. But Disney will never say this publicly, so you can actually get this great deal by only staying 2 or 3 nights. But they trick you into making you think that you need to stay for a full week. This is so that you spend way more time in the park buying things like Disney merch and Disney food. Also, sometimes these packages are a total scam. It's actually cheaper to buy the components of your trip separately. For example, separately buying dining, hotel rooms, and tickets instead of all as one package. The thing to remember is always read the fine print. Gift shop exit. This one is pretty much a cliche, but no matter where you go in a Disney park, you will always exit through the gift shop. It can be hard to resist buying some merch of the ride you just went on. But if you're looking to save money, then it's best to budget your trip ahead of time. Also, if your kids are trying to make you buy souvenirs, then set some boundaries. For example, tell them that they can only buy one souvenir each day. Some Disney aficionados even use gift cards to stay on budget. If you buy a $10 gift card at the beginning of your trip, then you can only spend that $10. This is a good way to make sure that all of these gift shops don't break the bank. Bounceback offers. One thing Disney loves to do is try to make you book another trip before your vacation's even ended. These are known as Bounceback Offers. They will often send you an email or give you a pamphlet saying that you'll get a gigantic discount on your next vacation. They'll send you this while you're still staying at the park. That's because the park is fresh in your mind and you won't want to leave. The trick here is that even if you weren't planning another trip, you often will just to get the big discount. But they make up all of that discount because you'll likely spend a lot of money at the park next time you go. You'll be thinking, well, I saved lots of money on the discount, so why don't I splash out in the gift stores? This is how many people think, and it actually tricks you into spending even more money. The good thing is, you're never locked into these offers. This means if you do book a bounce back offer trip, you can always cancel it. Extension discounts. This is one thing which is available to any guest all the time while they're staying at Disney parks. If you've looked at Disney's ticket pricing, you'll know that the longer you stay, the less you pay per day. Sometimes there's actually a 50% discount the longer you stay. Now, you may be wondering, why would Disney charge you less for a longer trip? Well, it's because they'll make up all of that money in the extra time you're spending in Disney shops and restaurants. All those little purchases that you make really mount up for Disney and make them a ton of money. But now it's time to make your voice heard. Comment below which was the most clever trick Disney uses on you. If you want some more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. But as always, thank you for watching. There are some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.